All right. Welcome to Dave and Vince Live. I'm Dave Westcott, CEO of TransBlue and Evergreen Brands, and this is Vince Ortiz, Vice President of Franchise Development for all of our brands. And we are here today actually talking about brands, and it's so interesting that that was the topic for today. I just actually got off a call with somebody that was talking about building personal brand and what that meant, and that the brand starts with core values. And I think that the brand is so important, right? And how you build your brand and how you take care of your customers. And I'm going to give you a little story here just to kick this thing off about brand. And I have an uncle by the name of Joe Riggert. And Joe Riggert played professional baseball in Boston for the Boston Braves. And he had a contract with Louisville Slugger. And there's a Louisville Slugger Museum down in, where is that at? Louisville Slugger Museum. Louisville. It's in Louisville. What the world's going on? Why did I have a brain slip, right?
You're just there.
Hey, cut that out, Rich. We need to cut that part out of the script. That's not acceptable to have a miss like that. That's not good for the brand. But seriously, so I've got this great uncle, and he played professional baseball, and it's amazing that he had a contract with Louisville Slugger, which means they cut him a custom bat. Mm-hmm. And so, we went to the Louisville Slugger Museum, and we have a copy of his original contract with Louisville Slugger. And, we have we have all of the pictures of him growing up. My Uncle Charlie, who I went on many, many trips with. My grandfather, who, passed away at a very young age. But all a part of our family. Mm-hmm. And Joe didn't have any kids. And so Louisville Slugger has this program, and they say, hey, if you're a family member, we'll give you a copy of the bat. We'll make you a replica. And okay, cool. And so give them the copy of the contract, and they say, yeah, we're gonna make the bat for you, and that's cool, right? And because Uncle Joe didn't have any kids, there's no heirs other than my Uncle Charlie and my grandfather, which was my mom's dad. Mm-hmm. So we're direct blood related right there, right? And so, you provide them with all the information, and you provide them, with some pictures from the photo album and, stuff like that. Well, Uncle Joe died in 1973. So he died before I was even born, right? So Louisville Slugger comes back, and they say, hey, we're not going to give you a copy of the bat because you're not his child. And it's like, that's just bad business, right?
Yeah.
That's just like, hey, you've got one person in the organization saying you're going to do it. You've got one set of rules that you're following, and then you've got another person saying no. And you know what? That's a lack of core values. And, I don't want to dog on Louisville Slugger, but to be honest, I would never represent this brand. I would never go to this museum again. I would never buy a bat. I would never do anything that has to do with Louisville Slugger because of that experience.
Right.
Now, the truth is that I would have been fine with the no up front. But the fact of the matter is that when you make the representation that you're going to do something and you have all of the documents necessary to prove that you're of that bloodline, and then they come back and say, no, that's bad business. Mm-hmm. And shame on Louisville Slugger. I'm just going to say that for this call. And it comes down to building a brand that you're proud of, building a brand that you stand behind, building a brand that takes care of your customer. I think so important when you're building this brand is that you're delivering an incredible customer experience, because if you don't deliver an incredible customer experience, there's no part in having a brand. There's no point in having a brand. Mm-hmm. Why put your name on it? Why put your logo out there if it's not going to be incredible? Your reputation is everything. And I don't want to talk the whole time, but this brand is very important to me.
Right.
This is such a passionate topic about what we build and who we are, because it's a direct reflection of your heart and your attitude and what you bring to business. And, the brand, man, is everything, right? You say ride for the brand, And And you look at a company like Louisville Slugger, and you look at this just ultimate fail of a brand. Just an ultimate fail, and not even willing to make it right. And so, you're out there, and we're talking about $1 million idea. That's what we do on this call. This is all about $1 million idea. And if you want that $1 million idea, and you want that $1 million business, and you want that growth, and you put your name out there, and you put all that time on it, but you don't deliver an incredible customer experience, or you have conflicting values in your brand, you're going to be like those brands that aren't here anymore, right?
That's it.
Blockbuster. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Circuit City.
Yeah.
Kodak. Right?
Yep.
Huge names that are gone, right? Borders Books, right? There used to be a Borders Books in every mall.
Oh, yeah. Love that place.
They're gone, right? So that's my intro on $1 million business idea, $1 million idea. That's what we focus on.
Yep.
That was like the intro when you see the movie or you're going to watch the show and you get like the intro clip. That was like the really long clip, and then they start the music and it's like dun 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 dun, and here we go, and then the show starts.
Oh, that was like a trailer though.
That was like my whole rock and roll thing. Now we can actually start the call and we can talk about all the things that Vince wants to talk about, because the rest of the call is all about Vince, I promise.
No, Dave, you hit it right on the nose. I mean, we're talking about branding to, that $1 million, taking it to $1 million. It's that consistency that Dave talked about. It's from start to finish, right? But ongoing. It doesn't change year one. If anything, you got to live up to it even more so as you go through it. But I tell you, it's I love the way you tied in the core values into the branding piece. Because when you think about branding, you think about logos, you think about wraps, you think about imagery, right? In many ways, but it's much deeper than that. And I think Dave brings up a great point. Is that core values, and when you're building a brand, you're putting quality behind it, right? You're ensuring that your message sets you apart. You're recognizable. That you're building loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it starts really kind of with. Dave, I remember you sharing with me stories when we first, when we changed our branding and got into the franchise business, and what that meant in terms of tying that in with clients and then building on the business opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about that? With what branding has been in terms of generating business.
Yeah.
You have some good examples.
I love where you're going with that. And you know what? I'm gonna continue this this talk on what branding isn't. And I think that this is so important, and I'm going to share this with you, whether it's good or bad, or whether I get in trouble for it or not. I don't really care. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. So here's the deal, man. Look at right? Big bank. Hey, what bad people, right? Look at what they did with all of those fake bank accounts. Right? Mm-hmm. How bad was that? Here's the kicker to that. We've done work for in the past. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. Not a good company to work for. Let me tell you that why I feel that way and why I believe that's absolutely true. We get a contract with for landscaping maintenance. We should have sole direction over how we manage the contract, right? 100%. So we win a contract with. What do they say? They say, you have to use this subcontractor. Well, we don't want to use that subcontractor. No, we have relationship with them in the past. This is who you have to use. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So we sign up the subcontractor and we use them. Guess what? They do a bad job. They won't follow the system. Mm-hmm. Every time there's an issue, they go back. And what do they say? They're like, oh, well, hey, this is what's going on. And they are able to go right to because they have relationship with. Does that set us up to succeed? Did those values align?
No, not at all.
Does that help the brand? And maybe this is a little on the risque side. Maybe I shouldn't be sharing this or talking about this, but this is a problem, right? With an organization that talks about values, and from the teller in the bank to the facility manager on site, like, it's bad values.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, if the contractor doesn't perform, they don't go and hold the contractor that they made you hire responsible. They hold your feet to the fire.
It's us. Yeah.
Right? And they want to crucify you, and then you go back to the sub and you put the boots to the sub, and they go back to the facility manager and complain, and they tell you to lay off the sub.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can't win. They ask for an extra bid, or they ask for something coming up, and they include the sub on the emails. They include the sub on the correspondence. It puts the business in a terrible position.
We're set up to fail.
Right? You're set up to fail. You're set up not to succeed. And so, like, one of the things about branding, and this is so important, is I don't want to work with I don't want to have anything to do with them. Because that's values not aligning. And you know what that ultimately does, and this is what's so important, is it absolutely drives a stake through the heart of your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Because your team can't perform. Your people feel like they're failing. You can't succeed with the client. And at the end of the day, you either quit the client or you get terminated from the client. Not all business is good business. And I don't want to just call out and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. But like, systematically from leadership down, what happens in an organization that allows you to treat people like that?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you think that that's going to be successful? And this to me is what branding is all about. It's about taking care of your brand. It's ensuring that your customers don't lose faith in the brand.
Right.
Why do so many people not have their checking accounts? Because from top to bottom, there's a fundamental problem there. Now, branding on our end, what you really want me to talk about, which is something positive, which is what we're going to talk about now, is why is branding important in your own business? And the story that I'll share here is we believe in branding. So we wrap all our trucks. This is super important. We want the world to see us. We want them catchy. They've got the beautiful orange, or some people call it the ugly orange, but I'm going to call it the beautiful orange for me. And we're orange and blue.
Yeah.
Hashtag orange and blue, baby. That's how we roll. But we wrap our trucks. Why? Because it makes a huge presence. So story, we wrap the trucks. They've only been wrapped a day or two. Facility manager from Marriott Hotels is flying in from Chicago, lands, sees one of our trucks, driving down the road, picks up the phone, calls us and says, hey, I see you do asphalt. We're like, absolutely. We meet him at a hotel. Boom, we do asphalt projects for 3 hotels in this geographical region. We do $550,000 worth of work for that client. Right? Branding enabled us to get an amazing amount of work with a client that aligns with our values,
Right.
and our system.
That was amazing.
But when you look at brands, look at who you're working with. I had an opportunity to put together a program for a movie theater that wanted our facility services. And I do research on these folks. And what I found was that if I went on to the local news, that they were closely considering bankruptcy. And so I asked them for a copy of their financials. I said, hey man, if I'm going to put in here and do work for all these stores, I want a copy of your financials. They said, well, you don't get to interview us, we interview you. And I said, well, what about this and this and this and this that says that you're not financially solvent? And they said, oh, you did that kind of research? And I was like, yeah. And they said, okay, well, we'll get back with you. And they ended up showing me what I asked for. And I ultimately sent them an email and I said, hey, this is not good business for us. I'm not going to continue the relationship because it's going to put the brand in a bad place.
Right.
And I think that we have to be cognizant of what business is good for our brand and what business is bad for our brand. There's a lot of business out there. But at the end of the day, we've got to choose what's best to take our brand forward and protect our brand. And we want to work with people who have the same core values,
Yeah.
the same system. I don't ever want to talk bad about anybody. I don't ever want to put anybody down. I wish Louisville Slugger, these companies would step up and do the right thing. Because we're held to do the right thing, right? We want to do the right thing. It doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes, because we do. We have plenty of our own failures. But at the end of the day, what you can count on is that a true team's medal is not in the accolades they receive, but it's how they conduct themselves when things don't go right. It's how they address the issues and stand up for the issues and make the issue right. And that's what branding's all about.
Yeah. No, well said, Dave.
That's protecting your brand, right?
Yeah.
And I know this went somewhere totally different than where we thought it was going to go. But this is serious stuff.
It is. It is. Well, especially the way you kind of describe it. You're talking, I think some people, as you're thinking about branding, it does go well beyond the logos and the wraps. It goes into taking care of your brand, right? Not putting yourself in a position to have that brand damaged.
Yeah.
You know, there goes a lot to that. I mean, because it affects a lot of different things. We're in franchising. You know, we talk to potential owners all the time and get all kinds of commentary. And you know, just recently we had our Meet the Team Day.
Yeah.
You know, with that's where we bring in potential owners and they get to know us, we get to know them, and it's a great celebration, especially when they sign.
Yeah, right. That's right.
You know, and but you know the comments about, hey, listen, all the research and because when you talked about the research that you did on somebody, Dave, it reminded me of talking to owners, you know, or potential owners, and the research they do on us and our brand. It goes beyond just the logos and the imagery and all that. It goes into, they're looking at videos, they're researching us. We are the brand to our business, right? And so that goes back to the core values in your team.
Right.
And that's huge. So it's such an important part to not only start your business and build it with the right messaging, what sets you apart, all these different things that all kinds of marketing companies will tell you, but what you bring to the table here today, Dave, is so key. You know, in terms of tying your core values into that, ensuring that you're protecting the brand and putting your company in a good place to move forward. Like, and you said, not all business is good business.
That's right. You want to align yourself with businesses that think the same way that you do, and I think that's the most important thing that you can do, is just understand who the best people are and connect yourself with those people. That's the $1 million idea.
Right.
Build your brand, protect your brand. You know, your brand is like a tree. And I want you to think about this. You go to the Home Depot. I like the Home Depot. I got nothing negative to say about the Home Depot. Go Home Depot. Rock and roll, baby. I love the Home Depot, right? They always treat me good at the Home Depot. You know what I love about the Home Depot? I go to the Pro Desk, right? I submit my contractor order to the Pro Desk, and you know what they do? They give me a discount. If I spend over $2,500, I go to the discount. I get a discount on my materials. Yeah. I absolutely love that they take care of me as a contractor. I am so brand loyal to the Home Depot, right? Because they take care of me. I've got my Home Depot credit card. I get my Home Depot points. I get return on investment by working with them. It's an amazing partnership. I don't do any work with the Home Depot.
Yeah.
But my experience as a customer with the Home Depot is fantastic. So if I go and want to buy a tree, and let's say I don't want to carry a heavy tree, and I don't want to get my car all dirty, let's just say I get a little 1-gallon tree. What's the most important thing about that tree, right? Taking care of the roots. What do we want those roots to? We want them to establish themselves. We want them to grow strong. So what do we do with that tree? We fertilize it with the best fertilizers, right? We take care of it. We look at it. We make sure the caterpillars don't get on it. You know, we keep the fungus off of it.
Yep.
When we see little dead branches, we prune them, right? We remove the dead, the damaged, and the decayed, right? We keep it healthy. What did I just say? We remove the dead, damaged, and decayed. What do? We're keeping energy going to the positive parts of the tree. We don't want the tree to put its energy into dead branches, right? It's kind of like those customers.
Yeah.
The customers that bring your brand down. And you remember, your customer can be an employee, can be a subcontractor, can be a client, can be a franchisee. You know, you have many different customers that you service. And in all those, your subcontractors, values align. Franchisees, values align. We love it when they sign, just like Vince said, but we don't choose anybody. We get hundreds of calls every single month, and we don't award hundreds. Maybe one out of every couple hundred where the values align.
Right.
Right? Super important. You know, employees, team members, staff, people who join the club. Hey, we want those values to align.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that we're all moving in the same direction. Our clients, we want those to work with those companies where the values align. And how do we do that? We take care of what we're building. And, you know, in those roots are like your values and your culture.
Mm-hmm.
And when you water them and you take care of them and you grow them healthy and strong, your brand grows healthy and strong. And when your brand goes healthy and strong, people take notice of it.
Right.
And they want to be a part of it. And they want to do work with you. And it's an amazing opportunity for you to grow. And then that bad boy just takes a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it just starts rolling. And that's the amazing thing about the brand, is that it becomes so powerful on its own because of how you watered it, how you nurtured it, how you cared for it, how you fertilized it. And so that's what we focus on with $1 million idea. And my big takeaway, and Vince will share his, but my big takeaway is simple. Build your brand after what's in your heart. Don't build your brand after what you think somebody else wants it to be, or don't try to copy somebody else. But what do you believe in? What are you passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
And then build your brand along that. And then find amazing people who are like you and have the similar thoughts and values and visions, and bring them alongside. And help them champion your causes with you. You know, amazing guys like Tim Lyon who work with us and, you know, give back to community, sent us an email the other day and said, hey, will you support this gal in her ministry through your charitable contributions? It's like, wow, that's awesome, right? His values are aligning as part of our system. And like we're on the same page, and it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And you brand that vision and you put your name out there and you do everything that you can to show why it's exciting and visible, and you get it out in front of everybody that you can, but you hold that standard. We don't want people to lose faith in the brand because we didn't provide an incredible customer experience. And at the end of the day, we drill down and we focus on that incredible customer experience. And we build our brand, and we build it on values, and we build it on trust, and we build it on execution. And it doesn't mean that every contract's going to work out. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to like what you have to offer. But the ones who do, where you connect and you gravitate, you're going to have amazing relationships. You're going to be profitable. You're going to be successful. You're going to be happy. And that $1 million idea is going to come to fruition. That's my 2 cents. I'm Dave Westcott. I'm giving it over to Vince Ortiz.
How can you follow that? Now, absolutely right, Dave. Protect your brand, you know, and I love that analogy, the landscaping one, the tree, that tree, and how you tie it all together. That was totally.
That's my Mr. Miyagi for the day. Bonsai tree, bonsai.
If you listen to anything else, hold on to that in that comparison. I mean, I think it totally is you can relate. Everybody can relate to that and apply their thoughts and how they're approaching their brand and building their brand and protecting their brand. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's Vince and Dave Live. Hope you got some great info on this call. Hope you learned something. Hope you have something to take away. We are honored to be able to talk with you and share with you our $1 million idea on branding and why it's important. If you'd like to learn more about franchising, check us out at transbluefranchise.com. Other than that, we'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a wonderful, warm weekend. Put on the sunscreen, kiss the babies, put on the hats. Don't get sunburned. Have a great time. Snow's coming in 120 days. We'll talk to you soon.